Kia ora, this is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor as well as education advisor. As always, coming live to you from Hamilton here in New Zealand. Guys, with Christmas and New Year around the corner, it's been getting a bit hectic. So, my apologies. There has been a delay again today in my live session by 30 minutes, but just finished my big workout, which is what I do. What I'm trying to do rather, because I'm practically out of time to finish my own commitment to climb that mountain 50 times this year. And, so I've been trying to squeeze those last few climbs. And, I just came back and had about time to quickly have a wash and change my t-shirt and sit here talking about the t-shirt. I'm not endorsing this brand or this brand. I'm just getting into the whole Christmas festive mood. And yeah, that's why the bright red t-shirt today, guys. And I can see some of my colleagues and friends are joining in already. And so warm welcome. So, and the rules are simple. I come live every Tuesday today because I just came back from my workout. Do not mind if I'm wiping my face a little bit because it's still very sweaty from my workout. Don't worry, I'm not having a heart attack on a live broadcast. Let's start by showing my license, which is what gives me the ability to sit here and talk to all of you and provide information and advice about the processes of migration into New Zealand. And just to give a quick overall summary, New Zealand is a young country that's growing very well, and there has been a shortage of skills in the country, and because of which we have an active migration policy, and we were trying very hard to attract good skilled migrants into our country, or people who can invest money under the investor category, or entrepreneurs who can come and set up businesses here and create employment for some of the other New Zealanders. So there are various migration pathways available, but with a lot of recent changes to migration policies, what has happened is it's one of the easiest pathways is where you are able to come into the country and as an international student and undertake a course of study here in New Zealand. And then once you finish that course, depending on what course you've studied and at what level and in which city or location in New Zealand, you might get a 1 year or 2 years or a 3 years post-study work visa, which is a good enough period of time for you to be able to find yourself skilled employment in New Zealand and then stake your claim to be able to become a skilled migrant of New Zealand. So we have an active policy, and the migration through education has become a very, very viable option, and it serves us here in New Zealand as a country in two different ways. Not only do we get very valuable and good revenue from our international students, and we understand that not everybody wants to stay back in New Zealand, and so some do come to have that fantastic, amazing education and experience in New Zealand and go back to their countries. But then there are certain others who desire to stay on in New Zealand and and create a future. So that opportunity is definitely possible through this new pathway, which is your study plus your post-study work visa. And if you're able to find that job and crack that job, you should be on your way to becoming a skilled migrant of New Zealand. And the advantage of young students who come to New Zealand through a company like AGV, which is based here in New Zealand, headed by a licensed immigration advisor. We have a couple of other licensed advisors on the team now. So it's not just myself. And then we have a bunch of other professionals on the team, including some ex-immigration officers and a lot of other professionals from the education and migration industry. So we're a pretty solid team. We are about 40 people spread across India and New Zealand. New Zealand being the headquarters of the company, but then quite a lot of our team works out of India, and then a couple of our team members sometimes are also based out of Dubai or US, depending on their personal circumstances. So we are a very smart mobile workforce who is there, at your beck and call to be able to fulfill all these aspirations that you guys have. All right, guys, that's done with the initial introduction. Let us see. Uh, questions that have come through, and there is a question from someone called Shlok Sidhu, who says he is and hey guys, this broadcast is going live on Facebook as well as on YouTube, and because it's sometimes not very difficult, not very easy for me to kind of toggle between both the tabs in a live situation. Will request those people who are watching it on YouTube to come and ask your questions on Facebook, because it becomes a lot easier for me. Plus, my awesome team is also going to support me on Skype. So these guys will be on Skype with me, and they will keep telling me in terms of who are the people. So I would ideally like you guys to identify yourself when you ask me a question, and tell me whether you're an AJV student or not. And based on that, of course, it'll be a lot easier for me to modulate my answer. I tell this rather openly in my own friendly, frank way that I am partial to my AJV students. So if you are already an AJV student, you will definitely get a solid, good response from me. And if you're not an AJV student, I will still respond. But if you do go on to become one of our students or clients, we would absolutely be delighted to give you all the information that you're looking for. Right. So I'm going to quickly Shlok, I think you are already in touch with two of our colleagues, and I think I remember your name a few times, Shlok. So I'm not quite certain whether you have gone on and signed up and become a student of AJV, because you did mention you're an AJV student, but it will be awesome because I remember you asked me a lot of questions. So I'll wait for confirmation from my team that you actually become an AJV student, and I'll come back and answer your question again. All right, Shlok, right, go. In the meantime, next question is from Nirav Goswami, who has not identified whether he is an AJV student or not. But hey, look, I'll talk generic about mechanical engineering scope in New Zealand. Absolutely, I think the scope for mechanical engineering is very good in New Zealand, because like I told you, we are a growing country. Our economy is doing well, and there are certain areas of the economy or industry where there is a very serious shortage of skills, and one of those areas is engineering. And under engineering, of course, you have mechanical, civil, chemical, various kinds of engineering faculties or specifications are grouped under the broader term of engineering. So definitely mechanical engineers are in demand in New Zealand, so the scope would be good. So for someone like Nirav Goswami, what I would recommend is, Nirav, that get in touch with our team. And like last time, I'm again rushing myself a little bit to come into these live sessions, and I normally come very, very well prepared, and have these things to hold up and show people and say, hey, look, these are the numbers that you guys need to call, and get yourself enrolled with the AJV team. Looks like, because I have been rushing again today and just come back from my workout, I haven't got them yet. But overall, Nirav, the scope for mechanical engineering is definitely good, and because it is in the long-term skill shortage area, and the government has also recently, I think, created another one called the construction skills shortage. So the scope for civil engineering graduates is also very good, but mechanical engineering has been in our long-term skill shortage area for quite some time now. And Nirav, my team also tells me that you're in touch with one of my colleagues, but you're not willing to share your documents, and you're also in touch with some other agencies. So if you really want our help, Nirav, I think you need to be a bit more open and frank with us, and take our advice. Don't just come onto this live sessions and take my advice and then go work with somebody else, because that's being very unfair. And actually, it's probably not the right thing to be done. And if you're going to come to somebody else, then ideally you should be going and speaking to those guys, and not to us, and taking my time and effort and that of my team. All right. So if you're serious, Nirav, yeah, the scope for mechanical engineering is good, but the story doesn't end just there. The story actually begins once you land in New Zealand. And if you are working with a team like AJV, with a company like AJV, we will guide you along that. I mean, I can already think of at least half a dozen of my ex-students who have done mechanical engineering are now working in the industry in New Zealand. So if you come as an AJV student, we can quite happily connect you to those people as well, so that from day one, when you land in the country, you will also have other friends who are part of the AJV family who have already done this course and become successful in mechanical engineering. So that's the advantage you guys get. So guys, please be honest, and don't just come and take our information and advice here and then go work with somebody else, because if that is the case, I think you really should be working with those guys. And it actually shows a little bit of problem with you, because you're coming to us for information, but you're going to somebody else, which means you don't trust those guys completely enough to get your information. So you're coming to us. If you're coming to us, you might as well, uh, you know, work with us and take the full advantage of being an AJV student. All right, cool. So that was a pretty long-winded one, because I had to tell some of you guys clearly saying, hey, you want to work with us? Come on, man, just come to the party and we are there to help you guys. All right, cool. Um, Okay, there is a question from Vinod Kundu who says, hi, sir, chain supply management course approved by SIPS. I don't know what's the rest of your question now. Vinod, you've only written saying, I think you're obviously talking about you've written chain supply, but obviously you're referring to the supply chain management course approved by SIPS. You haven't elaborated further on what is it that you question. So please go ahead and ask a question, and we will see how I can, answer that particular question. Again, okay, so you continue to another one. You says, because long skill shortage course list shows SIPS approved supply chain course requirements. I mean, yeah, if you, again, there is a video I have made and which sits on my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for Arun Jacob, New Zealand, perhaps, and then you will get my channel. And I think there have been with today's live session, which will also become a video and sit on that particular channel. I think we'll go up to almost 201 or 202 videos. And there is one particular video, Vinod, which clearly says, I think your question seems to be whether that is the only course you should take up because it's in the long-term skill shortage list or not. And I have quite clearly explained why it is not important that you guys have to kind of get focused only on long-term skill shortage list courses or some other, skill shortage list courses, because there is this fixation in the mind of a lot of properly not informed students, and which is where I think Mr. Nirav Goswami also needs to come back to us, because a lot of these so-called agents and agencies really don't know what they're talking about, because they are not able to link it all together in terms of what is the course, what is the meaning of it being on the long-term skill shortage list, what is the scope of employment after completion, what kind of employment needs to be found, what kind of salaries need to be found, which kind of region they need to find. I mean, for instance, the government is about to introduce hopefully in the next few months something called the regional skill shortage list. So how does this all fit together? So it's not an easy subject, guys. A lot of you are going to some guy who puts up a board saying study in New Zealand, and you go to and talk to that guy, and the guy doesn't know what he's talking about. If the guy really needs to make sense, he needs to have that. He needs to have a license from the government of New Zealand saying that that individual is a licensed immigration advisor of the government of New Zealand, so that we are able to link it all together. And we can tell, for instance, a lot of my students, unlike you guys who will have to come and ask here, a lot of our students who are already in New Zealand, and the information you require is not just at the start of your journey to New Zealand. In fact, I think you guys require a lot more information and a lot more detailed, technical, licensed immigration advisors required after you come into New Zealand. And that is where, when you come as a student of AGB, we receive so many emails every day. So there's myself, there is Gisela, who's a fully licensed immigration advisor. There is Mary, who is now one of our senior managers, who's just received her provisional license number. And then we have an intern with us who is also a provisional license holder. We have about 5 or 6 people in our team who are all ex-immigration officers, and a host of us who have a lot of information. So what we are doing with our students, guys, is we are actually going on stitching the story together for you. We are kind of putting those beads, one bead after the other, and then eventually that's the necklace you're looking for, which you guys like to call PR or residency. So do not get fixated about your long-term skill shortage list course or not. Talk to us, get involved with us, and we will tell you, yep, I finally found my 2 pieces of paper that I was looking for. So if you guys are in India and you need some good, honest, serious information, that's what you guys need to do. Call that toll-free number in India, which is 1-800-103-6525, or email your CV with contact details to info@ajvglobal.com, and we will help you. And if you guys are in New Zealand already and you're looking for uh, local immigration advice. If you're a new AJV student, you already know who to contact and how to do, and you guys don't have to worry. But if you're a non-AJV student, you need to do that. You need to call Mary on 022 605 or email immigrationadvisor@ajvglobal.com. Mary at the moment is traveling overseas, so she may not be available on that number all the time or able to receive phone calls or receive text. So I would strongly suggest to send an email to that one, to immigration advisor at ajvglobal.com. If you're already present in New Zealand and you're looking at further information, happy to help with that. All right, guys, cool. Next question is from Bharati Khannan. Hello, sir. I heard positive notes from many sides. Then I'm really happy to tell you that my wife got an offer letter from University of Canterbury. I'm looking forward to get student visa and spouse visa for me. Need your support. Hey, Bharati, absolutely. We would be delighted to work with you. You have not mentioned whether your wife has received uh, an offer from University of Canterbury through AJV, or was it somebody else? Like I said, guys, I don't have the complete list of. Yeah, okay, I just got confirmation, Bharti, that yeah, there you go. Bharti is one of our clients. So hey, look, at the outset, Bharti, thank you for choosing to work with AJV. Guys, everybody out there who's listening to this live broadcast, if you identify if you're an AJV student or not, it'll make my life a lot easier. In fact, sometimes I think I should skip the ones which don't identify, and because of that, you might also lose out on your answer. So please identify. All you got to do is, hey, look, my name is so and so, and I'm an AJV student, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And again, guys, this is primarily a forum for exchanging information and sharing some information and giving you some inputs about New Zealand from New Zealand. And it is obviously aimed primarily at our students and our clients. And if we are also giving information to other people, I mean, yeah, sure, we're happy to do that. But this is primarily a forum for AJV students who are already signed up with us or who would like to sign up with us. So kindly please identify yourself. So coming back to Bharti. Bharti, thank you so much for being part of our effort, and thank you so much for choosing to be an AJV client. Very happy to hear that your wife has got an offer from the University of Canterbury. Fantastic university, one of the best universities here in New Zealand, and we are very happy that she is going into this university. So she is obviously a very high caliber student, and we are very delighted to work with good quality students like yourself. And as far as do not worry too much about the student visa, because we have a super solid student visa team headed by 3 ex-immigration officers. So there's a manager, and then there are 2 team leaders, and then they have their teams of case officers. So overall, we know exactly what we're doing. And at any time they're still not very sure about policy, about the immigration matters, then of course we have an immigration team of licensed advisors, myself and Gisela and Mary, who's been already been provided with a provisional license number. So guys, do not worry, Bharti, about your student visa, because I do not want to sound immodest, but we are probably one of the best student visa teams for New Zealand education at the moment, anywhere on earth. So that really does make us very special. And you've chosen us, and we're very certain that we'll be able to get you your visa, especially just from your post, it does look like your wife is a very high quality student going to University of Canterbury, because University of Canterbury will not give an offer lightly. They will check all the antecedents of the students before they provide an offer. So if she's made it there, so she's obviously high quality. Do not worry about your spouse visa either. Thankfully, so far we have not lost a single spouse visa case that has been filed for some of our students. So, and the other interesting thing, and which is very good, very heartening actually, is the fact that practically all the spouses who are coming on these spouse work visas are finding very, very good employment. And a lot of them are girls and guys, everybody is coming back to us and saying, hey, you know what, while my spouse is still studying, I already found myself a job. So can we now apply for the residency? And we're saying, yeah, absolutely. Why not? So they send the job offer to us, and either myself or Gisela, we are able to look at the offer letter and say, hey, perfect. This is all looking good. Your salary is perfect. The offer is good. The employment agreement is looking good. I think you can go to the next stage, which is to apply for residency, and they come back to us. And then, so it's like working like beautifully well. Not only are we picking up really high quality students, but I think we're also picking up very, very high quality spouses of students as well. So, hey, Bharti, lovely to have you on our side. Thank you once again for choosing to work with us. Do not worry about your wife's student visa or your spouse visa. We will take care of it. All right. And I'm sure you're already in touch with one of our team members. I think you're in touch with one of my colleagues called Saili. So yeah, Saili, and then from there it will move to the visa processing team. And between all of us, we are there to take care of you. Do not worry about it. If required, it'll get bumped up all the way to me as well. So yeah, all good, man. All right. Vinod Kundu is back again. Vinod, you've got to tell me whether you are working with us, not working with us, and what exactly is the nature of your question. There will be some colleges which will be providing, courses, supply chain courses, which are approved by SEP. So we should be able to find those courses for you and put them in front of you. And not sometimes, also, because of going back to your previous question, Vinod, you kind of asked saying, oh, this is in the long-term skill shortage list or not. I have a feeling you're probably getting a little fixated by that long-term skill shortage list terminology as well. So if you're not our student already, Vinod, please get in touch with us, because we would like to examine to see why exactly you are looking at this particular course only, because sometimes, you guys get misled by this long-term, the terminology and the nomenclature called long-term skill shortage list, so on and so forth. And so, we like to talk to you. We want to engage and speak to you and find out whether you're actually heading in the right direction. For all we know, you might actually be a brilliant marketing guy who is trying to get into supply chain because some guy somewhere told you, oh, you know what, New Zealand has got a shortage of supply chain people, so go into it, and to get into it, you need to do a SIPS approved course. So sometimes we do come across people like that who come to us with very, very specific requirements because they've either done some internet research or somebody else has told them saying, hey, look, if you're going to New Zealand, you got to do only a long-term skill shortage list course, or, so sometimes we do get these very peculiar cases where people come with a lot of preconceived notions, and we do not work with preconceived notions. We work with the reality and the understanding of what exactly is happening on the ground here in New Zealand. And not just that, by virtue of the fact that, I'm a licensed immigration advisor, and so also my colleagues, and, we are able to look at a profile very, very clearly and say, this guy is just heading down the wrong way. I think is just getting fixated with the long-term skill shortage list terminology, and we kind of guide them back to the right path where they belong. And because there are a lot of things which are not in the long-term skill shortage list. For that matter, my profession is not in the long-term skill shortage list of New Zealand. I mean, for instance, licensed immigration advisors are definitely not there in the long-term skill shortage list of New Zealand. That doesn't mean that I'm unemployed or I will not be able to find employment or get myself residency in New Zealand, So it doesn't work like this. So don't get too fixated about it. And which is where, because you guys have all these different little doubts going on, poking at different sides of your head, talk to people like us. And that's really what we're all about. We are friendly, we are frank, we are in your face. And more than anything else, we are very professional. And I kid you not, you will never, ever get any information that will go against your interest. Because the way it works is very easy, guys. In this business, it's very easy for an advisor to misguide a student and put them into the wrong course, because the advisor and his company can make more money. We never, ever do that. What we do is we always put the interest of our students ahead. We don't care how much money we make out of that recruitment process. But for us, it is important that the student is going to the right course. And we can only put you into the right course when you guys start talking to us and engage with us. And that's the reason I sit here week after week and tell you, get in touch with us. And I mean, the reason we have a toll-free number in India is because obviously a majority of our students are coming from there. And so obviously we've set up a toll-free number. But hey, look, we work with students from all different countries, and In fact, just a couple of weeks back, we did an exercise to see where all our students have come from, and our students have come from Egypt, China, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Singapore, uh, Thailand, Jordan, Brazil, Romania. So we're getting students from everywhere. The bulk of them, of course, do come from India, and that's the reason we set up this toll-free number. But if you're not from India and obviously will not have access to the toll-free number, then that's what you guys got to do. Just send us an email with your contact number at info@ajbglobal.com, and my awesome team will get on the phone or connect with you via Skype or Viber or WhatsApp or with all the different things that are available to us. It's not very difficult for us to get in touch with you. Okay, so get in touch with us, guys. We'll be happy to work with you. And like I said, you guys require very honest, simple, straightforward information, and that's really what we guys are good at. So give us a chance. Let's talk to each other. Let's work with each other. And after taking all the information, if you say, "Hey, look, wait, I'm not interested. New Zealand is not for me," so be it. We will remain good friends. Keep coming back to my live broadcast and share with your family and friends, and that's really what we will require in return, I guess. So don't worry too much about it. Okay, there is Ahmad Khakar, who has very kindly shared his cell number. Thank you, Ahmad. I think your intention is to work in New Zealand. I have made a video which says very clearly that it is not very easy to find employment in New Zealand because a lot of employers do not understand immigration processes, so they do not want to hire people without knowing how that process works. So, which is the reason a lot of people do not find the opportunity to be able to find work in New Zealand when you're not in New Zealand. Plus, you got to bear in mind that we already have a beautiful local supply of talent, both local talent of our own New Zealand Kiwi graduates who are coming out our institutions, plus this whole new cohort of international students who are coming and are based in New Zealand and have a legal work visa and are able to attend an interview the next day or whatever. And so obviously, if you're outside New Zealand, it's not going to be the same. So so it's not very easy for people who are not present in New Zealand. And there's another video which is quite popular that I made, and it's sitting there up on YouTube, which says, "Can I find a job and a work visa or an internship in New Zealand?" So it's not very easy, Emma. So what I'll do, Emma, is ask one of my team members to get in touch with you, have a chat with you, and put some options in front of you, like study and settle, and or some other options. Take a look. If it works for you, it works for you. Doesn't work for you, no problem. Because I think we also crunched our numbers a little bit, and I think out of every 1,000 or every 1,000 people who actually get in touch with us, only 2 or 3 end up actually coming to New Zealand. That's fine. That's the way it works. Our job is to talk to all those 1,000 or 10,000 inquiries that come to us. So do not stop inquiring with AJB. We are absolutely happy to, and we have a big team, guys. It's not just this individual who sits here and puts on a t-shirt and talks to you week after week and says, "Hey, look, come to New Zealand." I'm backed by 39 other solid professionals, and some of them who are watching this live broadcast right now, along with the rest of you. So we are a super solid team, guys. So do not hesitate to send us your inquiry, and let's have a chat. We'll be friends. Let's have a talk, because we know things about New Zealand that you're wanting to know. And once we put it all together, especially the money part, you take a look and see whether it's possible or not. If it's possible, great. We'll see you in New Zealand. We'll all have a drink together. We'll catch up for a meal in Auckland or wherever you're going. But if you can't make it, so be it. Hopefully we'll continue to support the work, my awesome team, and I'm doing. So do not hesitate to send us your inquiries, guys. And like I said, we are not some bloodsuckers who will get after you and say, "Oh, you sent me an inquiry, so now we got to go to New Zealand." Doesn't work like that. So, but that's the reason we would like you to talk to us. So, yeah, just send us your inquiry. You can, if you're based in India, call that number or email with your contact details. And please make sure when you send us an inquiry to put your phone number, because obviously there's got to be a two-way street. If you just say, "I will only communicate through emails," after the second email, I think we will probably get tired of typing too much, and or probably it's also not an indication of your seriousness as well. So, that's another reason. So, okay. Slok has come back and says, "The final application documents are almost to be submitted to Sai or Siley within the next few days." So don't worry about it. I surely I will. Hey, Shlok, thank you so much. I mean, I appreciate that because you've been asking me a few questions. We don't know whether you're going to be one of our students or not, and we really don't want to waste time to, talk to people who will not become our clients in future. So, Shlok, do me a favor. Yeah, because I'm not able to scroll back to your previous question. I tried to go back to read what your first question was, but I'm not able to. So just paste it again, and I will answer it. All right. But thanks for confirming that. I like that. Let's be honest with each other. You want my information? Confirm to me and say, hey, look, we're going to work with AGV and we're your team. Come on, guys. You don't just because it's Christmas and I'm wearing a red T-shirt. Do not treat me like Santa Claus who will give away free gifts. Okay, so let's make a deal. You want my advice? Please confirm and say, hey, look, I'm working with AGV. Okay, cool. Look how cool my team is. Look, they just pasted your question onto my phone. So I'm going to read this. Okay. So Shlok's question was, hello, sir. I'm Shlok, an AJV student. Thank you very much for that. Also for reconfirming it again. As I had mentioned in my previous mail, I'm a science background student with a BSc electronics degree, but I'm thinking to pursue a career in supply chain logistics, basically a grad diploma. So my question to you is it advisable to pursue that course, and what could be the other courses I could look forward to in the business science departments, and also tell me about the job opportunities after a supply chain management course. Okay, Shlok, I think I have also made another video which talks about people switching subjects. I'm not a fan of that at all, because you, as a guy who has done a BSc electronics degree, would have studied for a minimum of 3 years, and obviously you went into it because there was some interest in electronics, and also bear in mind electronics is in our long-term skill shortage area. Supply chain management is also there, but you must bear in mind, because supply chain management as a subject area is there, but there is just one single profession in it called procurement manager, which is actually in the long-term skill shortage area. So I think you guys have to stop putting a lot of emphasis on that. And yes, there are opportunities in supply chain as well, but my concern with people like you, Shlok, who have already expended 3 years of your time, money, and effort into something like electronics, which is also a very highly desired subject area in this world. Look at the way we are talking right now. I am sitting in front of my computer with an electronic device, through an electronic device, and talking to you. And this entire world runs on electronics, information technology, communication technology, so on and so forth. So that is probably such a massive area of potential, not only in New Zealand, but anywhere else. I'm very averse to people who have already started in that particular subject to move into something else. So I would request you, Shlok, if possible at all, to continue to stick to your electronics, because you've already mentioned that you have a BSc in electronics. So talk to the team, talk to Sai, and talk to Saili. I think that's who you're talking to at the moment. So talk to Sai, talk to Saili, and let's find a good course in electronics in University of Canterbury or Waikato or some other university, and get you into a nice postgraduate level course in electronics. That is my gut instinct, Shlok, and that is my honest, straightforward information and advice, not only to you, but to anybody else listening who's thinking of changing their subject just because it's there somewhere else. But if you genuinely dislike electronics and you feel, man, I really got myself into the wrong course, and like for instance, it happened with me. I did 3 years of BCom honors course, and I did not like that, to be honest. And after that 3 years of BCom honors, I actually realized my real interest was communication, like in film, television, broadcast, journalism, that kind of stuff is where I realized my real passion was. And I then at the time genuinely wanted to get into communication field. But my 3 years of BCom honors, where I learned my mercantile law, my company secretarial practice, company law, so on and so forth, would have all gone waste, because I had already put in 3 years. So if you're genuinely not interested in electronics, then you look at something else. But if you do like electronics, then I strongly recommend that you stick to electronics, because electronics is also in our skill shortage area, and we will get you into a good course in a good city where your potential to be able to find related employment after you complete the course and become a success in that area and eventually work your way towards a job and your residency will be a lot higher. So if you trust my advice, I would say stick to electronics. But if you do not like electronics as a subject, then of course there are plenty of other courses you could look at. But I don't know why you want to get only into a completely non-related course like business or supply chain, because see, electronics is a very technical subject and business is not so much a technical subject. Perhaps you could look at something like mechatronics, which marries mechanical as well as electronics, and which is a good emerging subject at this point in time. So maybe that's something that we should look at. So I would suggest you continue to stay in touch with the team. I know you've been wanting to listen to it from me, and this is my honest opinion. So I would strongly recommend that you continue to talk to the team. And first and foremost, put your hand on your heart and decide whether you're still an electronics guy or not. If you're still an electronics guy, please stick to it. But maybe find a little variation, like a mechatronics course, for instance. But if you're not no longer an electronics guy, your heart says, no, that subject is definitely not my subject, then of course we'll put a lot of other options in front of you, and then we will take it forward from there. Perhaps information technology could be another area which you can consider, because IT and electronics again are pretty close, and they're almost like first cousins. So that's and IT has got massive potential, not only in New Zealand but anywhere else, and practically all our IT graduates are finding very good uh, employment. So perhaps you could look at course in hardware and networking and those kinds of things, because that's again very closely related to electronics. So I would say try and stick to electronics or a related subject rather than jumping into something that is very dramatically different from electronics. All right, Flo, that would be my honest, sincere advice to you. And because I have run out of breath explaining this to you and my throat is all dry, please promise me you're going to become an AGP student, because I'm trusting you, and that's why I put in that effort. Hey, jokes apart, you sound like a cool guy, man. Look forward to meeting you here in New Zealand, and hopefully we'll catch up and have a meal together or a beer together. All right, cool. Thanks a lot. Okay. Okay, Ahmad has come back again and said his wife is a nurse, and they're I think in the Middle East, and she's got 19 years of work experience. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Ahmad, the possibly one area we could create a pathway is for your wife to consider doing a course in New Zealand, and if she's doing the right level of course, you could possibly come on a work visa. So I would say talk to our team, and that's the reason I've made this little poster. So yeah, just if you're happen to be in India, call that number, or otherwise just send your CV with your contact details, and our team will get in touch with you guys. All right, cool. Okay, this is a very nice gentleman here called Godwin who has shared this number. So happy to. So if you guys want to share your number, I'm sure it will give us the confidence to talk to you a bit more openly. But okay, Godwin says, hi, sir. I completed BSc nursing and have 2 years of work experience and 2 years of home care experience. Can you guide me how I can move to New Zealand by study visa or PR? My phone number is so and so. Fantastic. Hey, Tim, if you're watching that, please pick up the number and talk to Godwin and after this broadcast is over. So what I would like to tell you, Godwin, is, I mean, yeah, sure, you come from the home care experience and the healthcare background, but trying to get residency in New Zealand directly is almost ruled out, guys. So you need to go back and watch one of my videos on my YouTube channel, where I have clearly explained that it is not really possible for you to get a direct residency in New Zealand, because the laws have changed. And the laws have changed where it says quite clearly that to be able to apply for residency in New Zealand, there are two very important things, three really important things that you need to achieve. One, you need to, if you add up your points for your age, qualification, work experience, so on and so forth, if you're married, your spouse qualification, so on and so forth, it should add up to 160 points. That's number one. Not only should it add up to 160 points, you should either have an offer of skilled employment in New Zealand or be in skilled employment in New Zealand, which is like the second condition. Or the third condition is you should have studied in New Zealand for a minimum of 2 years and got yourself a master's or a PhD. And so it's got to be either a job, an offer of employment or skilled employment in New Zealand, or you should have studied here for at least 2 years and have a master's or a PhD. So these are, and of course get the 160 points. So if you do get the 160 points but do not tick off one of the other two conditions, then sometimes the immigration department, after assessing your candidature, looks at your entire profile and says, hey, okay, the guy's got the ability to come and do well in New Zealand, but is not ticking off one of the other conditions, which is a mandatory condition. So they might give you something called a skilled migrant category job search visa, which will allow you to come into New Zealand and find yourself employment. And if you do find that employment, then of course you tick off that box which says you have skilled employment or an offer of skilled employment in New Zealand. So that's the way it works. But because it is not very easy and it can be very complex, and also because you're a guy who is from the health background, you have BSc nursing, there might also be an additional complexity of also having to get your registration here in New Zealand. Considering all those things, Godwin, I think the best pathway for you would be to look at the study plus settle pathway. You can come to New Zealand and do a course here in New Zealand, and if you do the right level of course, you would be able to get either a 1, 2, or 3 years post-study work visa. And of course, once during that period you're in New Zealand, if registration is a compulsory thing, you can also finish your registration. So all things considered, I think you need to get yourself into the country as an international student, get yourself into a good course in a good institution, which we can obviously help you with, and ensure that you're also well networked with our other students who have also done similar courses and connect you. So definitely for you, study visa, Godwin. And thanks for sharing your number. I really appreciate guys like you who or share your number and give us the opportunity to talk to you further. And like I keep saying, let's talk to each other. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, no problem. But at least let's respect each other by sharing. You give your number and I'll give you my information. All right. Good deal, guys. Cool. My friend and client Rani Fernandez has joined in. Hi, Rani. Hope you guys are doing well. Right. Gosh, this is tiring work, guys. Especially, I just finished my workout and came. Thankfully, I stopped sweating, so at least I don't need to use my little wiping cloth any longer. So yeah. Okay, Wazim says, hi, I'm Wazim Latif Palakal from India. I'm in touch with Shifa. All right, thanks, Wazim. Lovely to see that. Thanks for being in touch with our team. And yeah, if you've asked some question, I'll come back to you later. All right. Okay, Kush Gupta writes, hi, sir, I need your help. I'm studying in Auckland and Alpha Educational Institute. Never heard of them, to be honest. I pursue level 7 in business management. Okay. You haven't, I can't see the rest of his question. Kush Gupta seems to have disappeared after. Kush, I don't know what is the thing you're looking for. I don't know what help you're looking for. I don't think you're one of our students because we don't work with that Alpha Educational Institute. So we don't represent that particular institute. So I can quite clearly see that you're definitely not one of our students. So which is quite evident. Hey guys, the way we pick and choose institutions to work with is we ensure we do our cross verification and vetting of each institution before we add it to the portfolio of New Zealand institutions that AJV is representing and working with, which is why if you're coming to us, I can assure you we have kind of done the proper checks on each of these institutions, and which is why unfortunately I've not heard about Alpha Educational Institute, and I've been around in this business for 16, 17 years. I honestly don't recall seeing this, having heard about it. But Coach, if you're looking for some onshore immigration advice, okay, I would say send an email to immigration advisor at ajvglobal.com. Make sure you include your contact number, and Gisela or myself or Mary will get in touch with you and check to see what exactly is your onshore problem. See, if you were an AJV student by now, you already would have gotten that information, because we are 6, 7 people present in New Zealand who are constantly talking to our students. In fact, one of my colleagues in New Zealand called Virginia, who, by the way, is an ex-immigration officer, her only job as customer service manager is to constantly keep talking to our students and say, Guys, I hope everything is all right. Girls, I hope everything is all right. Is there anything we can do for you, sir? So, Kush, send us an email to immigrationadvisor@ajvglobal.com and write briefly what exactly is the problem that you're faced with, and we will try and find a solution. All right. Thanks, Kush. Gautam Murugan, any course of dairy management? Absolutely. I think there will be some fantastic courses in dairy management in New Zealand. I think at off the top of my head, you might be able to find something really good in either Lincoln University or at the University of Waikato, which is where I live. I'm a Waikato boy. I live in Hamilton, and this region is called Waikato. And yeah, so the university is called University of Waikato, and this is one of the largest farming areas of New Zealand, the Waikato region. And by farming, I also mean dairy farming and stuff like that. So, and then Lincoln University, of course, was set up specifically as a I think agriculture, based kind of a university. So I'm absolutely certain, Murugan, that we should be able to find you a very, very good course. And so if you would be so kind as to send your contact details to that email address, or you can call that toll-free number. I'm guessing you're from India. We will absolutely be able to put you into a really good course from a really good institution. And not only that, support you after you reach here, New Zealand as well. All right. But no, absolutely. And I think New Zealand is a country which you must consider for with an interest like yours, because we are very, very strong in dairy industry. In fact, our dairy industry is probably what holds up New Zealand, along with tourism. And strangely enough, now international education is becoming a very strong industry as well for us. So tourism, dairy, international education, fisheries, wine, timber. So we do have a few prominent industries here in New Zealand, and dairy is right at the top of these industries. So yeah, absolutely, we'll be delighted to work with you. And part of our job is, part of the work we do is not just giving you guys solutions, but also trying to attract the best talent from different parts of the world to come and be part of New Zealand. I keep telling my team, and I joke with my team saying, in about 10 years' time, if the government of New Zealand gives us a nice, big, bright medal and says, oh, you guys were brilliant, you've helped so many of our industries to get skilled workers through the pathway of education, we will be delighted. So we are kind of working on a two-way process, not only giving you guys the best solutions possible here in New Zealand, but we are also trying to find the best people for New Zealand as well and create a much better country, because it's a beautiful country. And I think it can go on to become an amazing country through induction of good talent and also the local homegrown talent as well. All right, cool. Get in touch with us, Morgan. We would love to work with you. Okay, cool. Akash Sarvan, sir, currently I'm pursuing my final year of engineering, and I would like to know opportunities for higher studies in New Zealand. Like I told you, Akash, we are competing with a lot of other countries around the world to attract good, skilled, and good knowledge-based students to come and study here in New Zealand, because not only is it an important industry for us, international education, but part of that international education strategy is that we also create future global citizens who may or may not want to work in New Zealand after they've completed their course. But there's a fantastic environment here in New Zealand to acquire good degrees at the higher level, because the whole atmosphere is so peaceful and chilled out, and there's little crime. There are no guns visible anywhere in the country. There are no snakes in the country. I just went for a walk in the forest and came back, and I know I can walk bare feet there, and there's nothing that will kill you. So things like that. So it's a beautiful, conducive environment for people to come and study here and and acquire good degrees. And hey, look, if you want to stay back and address some of our skill shortages, we'll be delighted to have you. But if you want to just to use New Zealand as a training base and then take off to back to your country or to America or Europe or Australia or wherever, yeah, that's absolutely possible as well. So the scope is very, very good, Akash. And you say your background is engineering, and the opportunity, especially for an engineering graduate to come and do something at a higher level in engineering in New Zealand and look at future careers, is very high because engineering is in our long-term skill shortage area. So definitely, I think the scope is very, very good. And I would encourage you to get in touch with our team. And the way to get in touch with our team is by doing one of these things, call either that toll-free number, or just send your CV with your contact details to that email address, and we will get in touch with you. But you certainly sound like the kind of student we want to work with. And guys, just letting you know, we don't work with every guy who picks up the phone and calls and says, "Hey, look, I want to go study in New Zealand." We are very, very particular about the kind of students we want to work with. Hey, by the way, if you go to the Immigration New Zealand website, you will see that we have a 91% success rate in our visas. And I think my awesome team and I, we are trying to work to make that from 91 to maybe, about 95%. So we are also, handpicking only the best who have all the attributes. And what are the attributes to be successful in New Zealand is you need to have verifiable funds, you need to have impressive English, you need to have the sincerity of purpose, and you need to have the academic or work track record. And if you look at it, I said verifiable funds, which is V, which are sincere. I is impressive English, which is I. Oops. Third one is sincerity of purpose, which is S, and academic or track record, which is A, which is VISA, visa. That's the kind of people who will get the visa. And so we are looking at people who have all these attributes and the knowledge, skills, and attitude to succeed in New Zealand, because it's not easy, guys. A lot of these guys who call themselves agents or consultants or whatever, they have only one interest, and that is to make money off you, which is to sit there at a small little room somewhere and say, "Oh, don't worry, go to New Zealand, everything will happen, and doesn't matter if you're doing a level 7 business course," or they'll say all kinds of nonsense and put you on a plane, because their only interest is to make money for themselves. But we are looking at it from a very, very larger, broader perspective. So to me, someone like Akash, who says he's got a background in engineering, is a very desired kind of a student for us, because it's not only for us. When I say us, I don't mean just AJB, the company. I also mean the larger perspective of New Zealand as a country, because that's when the right match occurs. A guy for the engineering background coming and doing a higher course in one of our institutions and getting a higher degree in engineering, and then translating that eventually into into a job and addressing our skill shortage areas. Brilliant, isn't it? And if we are the people who made it happen, seriously, I mean, at some point, I think we will get that medal from the government of New Zealand. So well done, Akash. I think you're doing the right thing by listening to this broadcast and wanting to come to New Zealand. Great country, fantastic destination. I personally lived and worked in the US and in UK, and I mean, no disrespect to those countries, but this is truly phenomenal as a welcoming environment. So please do consider to choose New Zealand. And if you're choosing New Zealand, choose HAV. We are the best man for New Zealand. Okay. All right. Swat Krishnan. YouTube query. Sir, can you please tell me about scope of graduate diploma courses and share this number? But thank you so much, Aswata, for sharing your number. I appreciate that, and my entire team appreciates that. Really good on you to share your number, because shows us your sincerity in wanting to take information and give your number in return, which is truly appreciated. So request everybody else to do likewise. It's a great practice. And good question about scope of graduate diploma courses, because the graduate diplomas are a very interesting uh, level of courses, Ashwath. And quite frankly, I sometimes feel like picking up a fight with the government of New Zealand, because the graduate diploma courses are aimed at somebody who's already a graduate. So, like when I went to get my license, I had to do something called the graduate certificate in New Zealand immigration advice, which is also at the graduate. It was not a graduate diploma. Now they made it into a graduate diploma at level 7, and but I also did a graduate certificate in New Zealand immigration advice, which was also level 7. And although it says certificate, which sounds kind of low, man, it absolutely killed me, that course. It was really, really tough. So it's an interesting level that's available in New Zealand, because it's for you to join a graduate diploma, you need to be a graduate. But then they don't call it a postgraduate, because I mean, so to me that's a bit of a conundrum, because if you're already a graduate and you're doing a course after graduate, it has to be a postgraduate course, but they call it a graduate course. And I think my understanding of it is a graduate diploma is like the 4th year of specialization. Like for instance, if you've done 3 years of 4 years of, let's say, engineering, and then you come and do a graduate diploma in mechanical engineering, if that's what you did in your engineering. So it's like the specialization here, like the honors here, so to speak. So that's what the graduate diploma is. I think it's a brilliant level. Of course, my only fight with the government of New Zealand is if you're only going to take guys who are graduates into it, then it really should be postgraduate. But I don't know. Obviously, I'm too small to take on somebody like NZQA, which is the New Zealand Qualifications Authority. But I personally like the graduate diplomas. I remember back in 2005 or 2006, I was still in this. I had I was a baby in this industry. I was 1.5 or 2 years old in the industry, and I was, helping good quality students to come to New Zealand, and they introduced this graduate diploma. And I remember the first one was from in graduate diploma in IT from an institution called AIS St. Helens, which is in Auckland. And I got very excited looking at it because I think it's a great level. The only thing, of course, now is that if you're going to do a graduate diploma in Auckland region, you're going to get only a 1 year post-study work visa, which is what it was before. But if you do a graduate diploma outside Auckland, then you will get a 2 years post-study work visa. So I think, yeah, it's a phenomenal thing. It's not as expensive as a postgraduate diploma, and it's a good level, and it actually solidifies whatever knowledge you've gained in your previous subject area. And yeah, I mean, I'm a hey, look, I sit here and talk because I'm also a graduate certificate holder, and my colleague Mary, who's traveling overseas at the moment, she just completed her first few papers of the graduate diploma in New Zealand immigration advice, and that by virtue of which she applied to get her own license, and she's just received her provisional number. So yeah, so it's a good level, Ashwat. So talk to my team, and we will get in touch with you, and we'll sort out the rest of it. Cool. We seem to be doing all right at this point. Although I started late, and I'm trying to make up for it, so I'm gonna read a few of the questions. Okay, there's a very, very long email text from somebody called Rajesh Rana. Rajesh, that's massively long, man. I'm 47 years old, retired from Indian Air Force as aircraft technician. I worked in Indian Air Force, okay, and since I retired, I have been working in private companies till today in admin, secretarial roles. I can say that I coordinate and get the work done for my company. Company operations are also my domain. Now my qualification work experience is Bachelor of Science, then in Indian Air Force, then MBA in marketing and HR, and then working as an EA and office manager since 2013 till today. Kindly suggest whether I can come, hoping for a PR after studies, and which course should I opt for if feasible. I'm confused between MBA and engineering course and mechanical and the PR process. Okay, Rajesh, first of all, thank you for sharing your number and sharing a bit about your background, Rajesh. And hey, look, I have a bit of an Air Force connect, by the way. I mean, somebody in my family is ex-Indian Air Force as well. So yeah, cool. So we already have that little bond there. So it looks like you retired as an aircraft technician in 1990. You worked from 1993 to 2013, and you worked in mechanical engineering. But since you retired from 2013, which is about 5 years, you have been away and you've been doing more business-oriented sort of things. Okay, Rajesh, the answer is simple. We have a larger requirement of technical people here in New Zealand than non-technical people. So that's a simple answer. But in your situation, because you have moved away from, core technical, you're not a nuts and bolts guy any longer. You're more like me, doing more of this rather than more of that. So you've kind of moved away. But if you think, but 5 years is not a very long time away. 5 years is, I don't know when is the last time I went to motorsports, guys, by the way, and that's probably why it explains the T-shirt. But so it's been 5 or 6 years for me as well since I last drove a rally car, and did a bit of racing. But it comes back. It comes back the moment you get back into the car and you strap on your helmet and you put on your your suit and strap yourself into that seat and you start your car. It all comes back. Same thing for you. If your technical side of it will come back automatically, and because you've had a very, very long stint in New Zealand, in the Air Force, and as a mechanical guy, I think if it will come back to you, the technical side, I would strongly encourage you to seek a course in mechanical engineering, because the ability, the opportunity of being able to find a technical job is so much higher, and the competition also is lesser as compared to a non-technical job, like let's say you want to get into HR or marketing, or I think it will be a bigger fight in the non-technical areas as compared to the technical area. So in fact, recently, for instance, I would strongly encourage you to look at mechanical, because one of the other things that is growing here in New Zealand is the flying schools, for instance, and our industry, our air industry. I think we also have one of the highest per capita number of planes in the world, aircraft in the world. So there is a scope for someone like you who has gotten your hands dirty with grease and everything else, working on aircraft. I think if you get back into your technical, I think you will do brilliantly well. And also because you're a 47-year-old guy, um, so you have tons of experience. I think you will be valued in the industry if you can get, if your mind and your can tells you that, yeah, I can get back into that without. But if your mind says no, you know what, you've moved away from it, you will not be able to go back to the nuts and bolts kind of a thing, then stick to a business course. Talk to my team and we'll put you into, if not an MBA, we might put you into a good postgraduate diploma somewhere, and something that matches your scope and your ability. We work with a lot of very senior people like yourself, by the way, Rajesh. In fact, 3 weeks back, I was hosting a colonel from the Indian Army who was also here in New Zealand and looking at opportunities. We definitely would love to work with you. And my sincere suggestion would be to try and stick to your technical side of things. If your mind says no, you moved away, you can't do it any longer, I will look. We're happy to put some good business options in front of you. All right. I hope that makes sense. And because I like to play with words, I'm going to crack a really bad joke, and I say, hope your dreams and aspiration take flight in New Zealand. Okay. Right. Okay, guys, I think I'm almost done for the day. Okay, while we are here, my wonderful colleague and confidant, she has shared the news, and I don't know if I can paste. Okay, I've just shared the news, guys, and I've pasted that link. She now is a licensed immigration advisor, which means, well done, Mary Joseph. We are very, very proud of you. And that's what she's going to get. She's going to get a license from the government of New Zealand. She has received her license from the government of New Zealand. And I'm going to read out her license number. It is 201-801-050. My license number is 201-500-460. That's my license number. And you will see that if you go to that link, which I pasted in our chat on Facebook, you will see that Mary says that she has got her license and that her supervisor is yours truly, and and that she works with HAB Global. All right, HAB Services rather. So that's a great way to end the session today by announcing the much-awaited license of my friend, my colleague, and my confidant, Mary Joseph, who is our senior manager here in New Zealand, and she and her team essentially take care of all our clients and our students who come to New Zealand and ensure. And now that she's got her license, if you guys call her and say, if you're coming as an AGV student and say, hey, Mary, I've got this problem, I got this job offer, what do you think? Will I get my residency? She will absolutely sit and evaluate it and tell you, yep, absolutely, you can go for it or change something in it, so on and so forth. So guys, before I wind up today, I know there are a lot of questions that I did not was not able to answer today, but that's because, like I said, there are a lot of questions that come in, and sometimes I'm not able to keep track of all of them. Uh, So sorry about the fact that I have not been able to react to. Maybe I will need to go out, maybe make these sessions a little longer, but unfortunately the throat tends to give up after an hour. But thank you everybody else who's asked me who has asked a lot of questions. And yep. So, and Rahul Datta says, I like listening to your videos on YouTube, trying for student visa through your organization based here. Thank you so much, Rahul. I appreciate the fact that you like listening to, and I hope you like these live interaction sessions, because I'm not reading from any script or anything. I just sit here and, talk what I've gathered over the last 16, 17 years as a professional who has worked very, very diligently, very sincerely, and in a very committed fashion to New Zealand, to my students, and to my colleagues. So that's my big trip in life, is to help New Zealand, help my students, and help my colleagues. So yeah, thanks guys to all of you who choose to work with us. Much appreciated. Those who are not working with AJV and working with somebody else, well, I guess not everybody is perfect, but you still have the opportunity to come and work with us. And hey guys, the way to work with us is very simple. See, we are simple people, no fancy graphics running across the screen saying call now and all that stuff. It's going to be this guy who'll sit and say call now. If you guys are based in India, toll-free number is that, or that's our email address. If you're already in New Zealand and you want immigration advice, that's what you're gonna do. But because Mary is out of the country right now, instead of calling her, just do that. Just send her an email to immigrationadvisor@ajvglobal.com, and either Mary, who just got a license, or myself, or my colleague Gisela, and we are all licensed people, will pick up the phone and talk to you guys and say hello to you. All right. Thanks as always for watching my videos and my live broadcast. This will become a video and sit on YouTube and on Facebook. Sorry, guys, to all of you who I could not answer in today's session, but I will come back again. I think hopefully at least 2 more times before 2018 is over, and we'll answer your questions. But everybody whose questions were not answered in the session, we will get back in touch with you, and if required, it will get bumped up all the way to me, and I'll be able to give my opinion. But guys, you know what? AJV is much bigger than this one individual. We are a super phenomenal team of people. Like I said, we are almost 40 people, packed with licensed advisors, ex-immigration officers, and fantastic professionals from the international education and migration industry. So stay in touch with us. And kakite ano, I'd like to teach you guys all a little bit of Maori before I go away. So kakite ano is see you later, and po marie, which is good night. Take care. Bye-bye.